What a thrill. My thumb instead of an onion. The top quite gone, except for a sort of a hinge of skin.
I'll never tell. I'll never tell any of you. Any of you. Any of you.
How am I not myself?
Myself. Calm yourself, and just listen to me.
No, you listen. Listen to me, please.
Good night, Mommy.
Oh, stop saying that! Stop saying that! I'm not your mother!
I remember you. I touched you, you dumb blur.
That duck's crazy. You telling me?
I was hoping that you could show Vanessa around the craft shop later.
I can't. See, I'm on restriction.
What did you do this time?
Mrs. Joyner said that I was touching Wanda Z all inappropriate.
I keep calm, admiring your lover. I keep calm.
So, who'd you kill?
Makes you think I killed somebody?
Because they got you wearing one of them orange murder suits. I'm here for huffing paint.
They put you in here for that?
During the strip search, they found this grandma tar in my cooch. You like tar?
I keep calm, admiring your lover. I keep calm.
I don't get how a person could go through their whole lives never being into girls. I love girls.
You can keep him.
You poke and stir, flesh, bone. There is nothing there. A cake of soap, a wedding ring, a gold filling. Hear God, hear Lucifer. Beware, beware. Out of the ash I rise with my red hair, and I eat men like air.
Hello, everyone!
There's a noisy ghost in the room.
Welcome back to Noisy Ghost. We've had quite a hiatus, but I think that we are back with a vengeance. We just watched, by we, I mean me, Eleanor Russell, André Callot, regular ghost host, and Eric Wenzel, our another ghost host. And we're here with Alex Phillips, who was recently... not recently, actually. You were here for the Saturday Morning Cartoons episode a few months ago, and you're back again.
As the fans refer to it, the Space Buttholes episode.
Oh, yeah, Buttholes all the way down. And then I'm also here with a friend of mine, very special ghost, Sarah Barletta. Say hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
And also, once again, Luigi Wave the Terrier. Luigi Ghost Dog Wave the Terrier.
Oh, yeah.
And we are here to talk about the movie Don't Say a Word.
Hey, I'm here.
I already said you.
Yeah, but you say me again.
André Callot. André Callot is back. And we watched the movie Don't Say a Word, which was a 2001 feature film. It was released September 25th, 2001. It's a movie about New York City. It's a tumultuous time for that film to be released, and boy, does this film reveal that. It stars Brittany Murphy, Michael Douglas, Famke Janssen,
Oliver Platt,
Sean Bean,
Sean Bon,
Sean Bean.
Who else is in it?
Snake's in it.
Jennifer Esposito.
Jennifer Esposito.
Yeah, she's my favorite.
I like Jennifer Esposito too.
A guy that looked like Tim Roth, but I think he might have gotten killed in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
It stars the filter blue.
Yes, which is a very important thing. But the reason that I wanted to watch this film with you guys is because I'm fascinated by a trend that I see in sort of in the 90s and in the aughts and up to now of the sort of white crazy lady thing that's represented in media. And we have that with Brittany Murphy's Of. And we have that very prominently featured in this film. And I'd never actually seen this movie before, but I've been haunted by the trailer since I was a kid. Why is everyone smiling? Because I said haunted. What's that about?
It's a ghost.
I see what you did there.
So I wanted to talk about sort of the sounds of craziness, the femininity of mental illness, if we can talk about this movie at all in terms of mental illness and representation, considering that part of the main conceit of the movie is that Brittany Murphy's character actually is pretty much psychosomatic. She is not, in fact, mentally ill.
Well, she has post-traumatic stress disorder.
She's not psychosomatic.
It's not psychosomatic. That would be
insane. No.
Physical. That'd be a physical manifestation of psychological issues.
And something she can't control.
By the way, Sarah Barletta is a mental health professional, which is why I wanted to have her on so we could talk very seriously about the actual, mental illness manifestations and what can we diagnose Brittany Murphy with.
And I had psychosomatic illness as a adolescent.
Also, we're here to talk about Eric, apparently.
Well, no, just because you brought up psychosomatic.
Okay.
What was wrong with you?
I guess never mind.
Nothing.
What was not wrong with you?
Nothing. I made it up. That's what psychosomatic is, clearly.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, so what's wrong with you now?
I talk too much.
Okay, but what does Brittany Murphy have in the movie? Other than PTSD? I guess, they say that she's been diagnosed with a number of things, and I think the whole, singing and shaking stuff that she does in the movie is just sort of this, general aesthetic of crazy, but doesn't seem to indicate actual real diagnosis. And I'm interested in sort of how her body type and the way that she moves and sings indicates actually nothing but an aesthetic.
Well, in a few other films, as you said before, Brittany Murphy plays a woman who is institutionalized for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Right. In the movie Freeway, she's in a minimum security prison where she creeps on Reese Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Girl Interrupted, she plays a woman who eats a lot of chickens.
Yes, that's a true fact.
And hides the carcasses in her living area.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that in all of these, she uses similar character traits and physical manifestations of her supposed mental illness, even though the three characters are very different. One of them is a violent drug addict, another is a victim of sexual abuse, and the one in the film that we saw tonight is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and possibly also we were talking maybe some sort of a narcissistic personality disorder or some sort of thing that would cause her to try to manipulate people and lie all the time.
Well, we should also mention, though, that it's revealed that she is literally faking it because she's trying to protect herself by being in mental institutions, and so she starts mimicking the way genuine schizophrenics or genuine, I guess, obsessive compulsive disorder is kind of thrown around. So that was the thing, is that the brilliant psychologist or psychiatrist Michael Douglas, the forensic psychiatrist, figures out that she is expertly faked all these behaviors.
Because apparently he's the only one who can recognize fake catatonia.
Yeah, Oliver Platt isn't good enough.
Yeah,
right.
He's not, no.
Well, it's because he doesn't touch his patients like Michael Douglas does.
Yeah, he's the teen toucher, the teen whisperer.
Yeah, he senses mental illness physically through touch.
By touching children.
Mm-hmm.
That would make me feel better.
And
actually,
also
if that were the case.
creates mental illness physically through
by touching.
Well, I mean, a lot of his patients are like, well, Dr. whatever, what was his name? Dr.
Dr. Michael Douglas.
Dr. Michael Douglas. No, it was like Calderon, Coster.
Dr. Crawford? I don't know.
Something like that.
Nathan something.
Nathan R. I also remember R was his middle initial.
Anyway,
but anyway, they're like, oh, yeah, Doctor, you really touched me.
Yeah. Alex, what did you think about, like, what would you diagnose Brittany Murphy with in this film?
I don't know. She mostly was just playing kind of like damaged, sexy white girl, it seemed to me.
Yeah, and I'm interested in the midriff choices that were made in this film. There was lots of midriffs. There was lots of sing-song, spooky kid songs to make you feel a little afraid, but not really. It doesn't really work.
And Brittany Murphy does the little girl voice even in the parts where she isn't playing somebody who's suffering from mental illness. And so
what is that about?
When she's playing a character who is mentally unwell, the little girl voice indicates some kind of developmental impediment that caused her to remain in arrested development. Mm-hmm. But then in...
Was she on that?
No.
Wait, are you talking specifically about this movie?
I'm talking about in all of the Brittany Murphy films. The ones where, like, for example, like this film where she plays a mentally unwell person. Her voice comes to stand in for her illness as a...
It's like a metonym for
it's
it.
It's a marker of when the trauma happened. And in Girl Interrupted, it's the same thing. She was
Right.
sexually abused as a child and is still very childlike.
Yeah,
but she still has the little girl voice, but in all of her non-mental illness parts, like, for example, as Eric pointed out, as Luann on King of the Hill.
Yeah, when she first speaks in this movie, she totally sounds like Luann when, like, she gets excited and kind of, like, whisper exclaims.
Yeah.
I'll never tell.
Yeah, I know. It's like, Uncle Hank. You know, like...
And then also when she plays the character of the Pygmalion type in Clueless.
Oh, Ty.
Ty.
Yeah.
Wait,
I've never had straight friends before. I don't know. I didn't sound anything like her.
Wait, Pygmalion?
Right, because...
Like Galatea. Like,
well, because in the...
Is this like, you mean like a pig person?
No, Pygmalion, the Greek story, or like My Fair Lady.
Eric, it's like you didn't even go to high school.
Alex, explain the story of Pygmalion. You're a playwright.
No.
Like, because she's like an unattractive girl. And
No,
so she's like
look,
a pig person?
it's My Fair Lady, for Christ's sake,
Oh.
Eric.
Oh, the like rags to riches. What was the Rachel
She's
Lee
all
Cook?
that.
She's all that.
Right, yeah. I will take this person who is not good, and I will make them approachable and presentable and okay.
Cruel intentions.
Right, and so
Yes.
in Clueless, that's the
Sure.
idea.
I mean, because it does sound like mammalian and pygmalion, you know?
And I believe in Clueless, that's because Clueless.
It's Emma.
It's Emma, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the
Oh,
things
like
that happens
movie.
in Emma.
Like, yeah.
But you know what? I was just thinking though. I was noticing that we were talking about how Brittany Murphy in this movie, she fakes mental illness in order to sort of like escape the clutches of these perpetrators. And I was thinking about how, and we're interested in what are the vocal choices or sonic sort of manifestations of that faking it. And then I was thinking about that episode we did about the show Faking It and how the character of Karma uses her voice in order to perform sexuality that is not her own. So what is it about bitches and white bitches and their using of their voices in order to become
Crazy.
It's a little peculiar. What do you guys think?
Angelina Jolie doesn't do it.
Well, yeah, because she's always crazy. She only has one thing.
That's possible.
But she's in Girl Interrupted. She's the one who's full of sounds. She's the one who's screaming and repeating things.
Well, she's also way more dynamic.
Yeah.
That's just because she's a better. She's not a better actor. I actually think Brittany Murphy is as good an actor as Angelina Jolie.
Oh, she used to be.
Used to
anyway.
be. She's stone cold dead now, unfortunately. But I think that.
Jesus, Eleanor.
What? That's how you talk. You're always talking about how people are stone
I have
cold
no
dead.
idea what you're talking about. How could you be that cruel and cold? This is a human being.
I know.
This was a human being.
Right, yeah. She's stone dead now.
It's a human dying.
Yeah. So what is it though? I mean, because I feel like if men, okay, what's an example in media or in life of a man performing a mental illness?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Ooh.
Yeah, he plays
Nailed
crazy
it,
people all the
Eric.
time, yeah.
He plays high five across the room.
High five across the room. Yeah, no, nice. So in Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket.
Is that what you were thinking of specifically?
I was thinking, I mean, all of his stuff. That was where he started with that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that was more of the crazy face where you look at the floor, you face the floor, but you look up.
Yeah.
So you get that like crazy menacing eyebrows. But he did it in.
Men do eyebrows. Women use their voices.
They look. The man does the thing where the face is pointed down, but then they look up at you.
Sort of like a predatory animal, like a tiger or something.
Yeah.
That's looking at you over the top of something.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, can you think of like a theatrical example? Because I can't right now of like dude mania or like dude craziness. Or not even like anything really.
Sure.
A
I mean,
particular
I thought that I liked when we talked about Michael Douglas being the actual crazy person.
He is totally the crazy person.
Because he was like manic and like bouncing around the room all the time and touching all sorts of
Inappropriate
people.
touching.
But it's
And
different.
he was putting his daughter's life at risk constantly.
Yeah, he
in
just
a
would-
totally irrational way.
But it's like Sarah was saying when we were watching the movie, I'm just like pointing at you like I'm an asshole, is that like there's this, because he's the protagonist, you're sort of forced into this identification with him, even though, yeah, Alex is right, he is the actual crazy one.
I think also because he's a man, a white man.
Really?
I think that his behaviors, like, if the roles were reversed and this were all about, like, Famke Jensen having to get the daughter back, we'd be like, this crazy bitch keeps putting her daughter at risk. Like,
Right, that's a good
I
point.
think that
He's just a
he
maverick.
gets away with a lot more because he's white educated in the movie. He's
Yeah.
white educated, a professional on the West Side.
Well, it's true about Michael Douglas
Money.
in general.
Yeah,
too.
moneyed. Yeah,
The thing that you're describing is exactly what happens in the film Flight Plan, where
with Jodie
Foster takes a little bit of extra care to try to find out what happened to her child who was abducted on an airplane, and immediately everyone she interacts with assumes she's out of her mind.
Yeah.
And going back to Eleanor's point, I think that that's part of why female craziness is through words and the voice, because I think most of the time it's, whether they actually are mentally ill or not, they're portrayed as what they think or their viewpoint or what they're saying is being crazy. Whereas it's less like, I liked what you said about the predatory animal with men, or they're just disorganized and gone. Like with women, it's like what she believes is wrong or what she's saying is wrong, and that's what makes her crazy.
She has a lot of misguided sexuality too. Like,
who does?
Brittany Murphy is like tries all these different things to manipulate Michael Douglas. So she's like splays herself out and stretches and shows her belly and talks not just childlike, but talks like sexy child. You know, like, do you want me to call you daddy? Like that kind of thing. Like there's a lot of
but it's
creeping
weird
out that way.
It's weird how he is shown as like sexually mature in the
Michael Douglas?
Yeah, Michael Douglas, where it's like he wouldn't fall prey to that, even though he is super creepy to her, like in unintentional ways.
Are we supposed to believe that he's creepy toward her, or is this just like us?
I think it's just our interpretation.
I think it's that. Yeah, it's 2015,
part of what went wrong
and that
in the
was
film.
2001.
Yeah, that's why it has 24% on Rotten.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even when he was trying to be sexual with his wife, with the like sponge
bath.
Yeah, we
bath
didn't
thing,
like it.
That was
It
disgusting.
so there's always
There's also the age gap too.
no, but there's the but it's
For me,
gross.
there's more to
I
it.
agree.
There was more than the
obviously.
age for me. I don't know if it was.
No, I agree.
It was the
definitely-
makeup that he was wearing.
What part of it was for me is that because she's what am I trying to say? Bedridden.
Yeah.
And he's giving her a sponge bath. There's still that like
nothing
daddy-daughter. Like there's still this predatory
and then
power
And
dynamic.
yeah, she did. She was like, I already had a bath. I already did the sponge bath today.
Right.
He's like,
Our
"We're
daughter
doing it."
gave us
Michael
She's
Douglas,
not
hey,
having it.
no is a
No.
complete sentence, okay? Douglas.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I also want to. I mean, the thing about sponge bath is it's a trope that it's supposedly hot, which it's only successfully employed as a joke. Like when the whole episode of Seinfeld where his mother George has to live. He's living back at home and he's masturbating, and his mother walks in on him, and she throws out her back, and he's visiting her in the hospital.
Yes.
And then there's this like. We only see it in shadow, but this like this other patient is sexy, and the sexy nurse comes in. They're like, "It's time for your sponge bath," and so it's all for comedic effect. And so this movie shows you that it is not possible to have a sexy sponge bath.
Also, he wrings out the sponge twice.
2 million times.
Each shot is like one
Because
wringing
it's-
out of the sponge.
Because
and then
it's a very unsexy medical procedure. It's that this person is bedridden, and it's a thing that has
And
to
they
be
smell.
done.
There's
Yeah,
nothing sexy about being stuck in bed and not being able to move.
Yeah,
know what else
and not being able to bathe.
There's nothing sexy about a sponge being the
Wrong.
phallus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
It's like
she's
a
like, I don't want
sponge
the
dick.
phallus right now. Leave the
Yeah.
phallus.
So can we all agree that this was not sponge worthy?
Yeah. No, this is not a sponge-worthy film. But you know what else I associate with sponge baths is, you know, in the movie Cinderella, the cartoon animated movie.
The famous sponge bath.
There's there's a scene. I only know this because Andre and I watched it recently. There's a scene where like she's like getting ready for the day, and she's like, and all the birds.
I know exactly
the little
what you're
animated
talking
birds,
about.
Alex is nodding. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the animated birds pick up the sponge and they like carry it to her, and it's like, oh, thanks, birds. Like,
Wait, is this Cinderella or Snow White?
Cinderella. Maybe there's also a sponge bath scene in Snow White. Maybe this
Well,
is like
Snow
a
White.
thing.
In Snow White, the birds like they like drape her yellow. Snow
You know what
White
it is? Is
cape
it's
on her. And
old
stuff?
fashioned.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't have a shower. Like,
It's old fashioned, so it's what we associate sponge baths with are old timey things or like being in bed.
Yeah.
And being sick. You know.
Or like cleaning the bathroom, or like sponges clean up gross stuff.
This is the sponge episode, guys. Welcome back
And also,
to
when you
Noisy
say
Ghost.
it makes you think of SpongeBob SquarePants because it sounds like sponge bath.
Yes, that's also true.
Sponge
Eric.
bath.
Yes. Oh God. Okay.
So moving on from
moving
the
on
sponge.
from the sponge baths. Okay, so those are the things that indicate Michael Douglas is I almost said Michael Jackson. Michael Douglas.
That's
is
a different
crazy.
episode.
Well, also that awful breakfast cooking scene that is like straight out of a Cialis commercial.
But it's so interesting to me that there are all these like really like specific parts, because he's the protagonist, but like specific behaviors and like plot points that like indicate his neuroses and like weirdness. And the only thing we know about Brittany Murphy and how she's codified as crazy is because she wears a lot of white and shows her tummy and like wanders around. In like weird languid fashion. It's like women appear and like men do.
Well, her hair is disheveled a lot. Like it's carefully styled, but it's disheveled.
Yes,
it's not-
meticulously disheveled. Yes,
and
bleached.
Yeah,
and bleached.
and they paint her skin gray. The like the
They
makeup.
did that to Michael Douglas too.
Yeah, well,
he's more pink.
Yeah, as I say, he was more like a China doll. Like they painted him white and then they accented him with pink.
It's weird to me that they like he like performs all these different tropes, and we have like him doing the breakfast scene and like the sponge bath stuff, and these are all things that are well known, well trodden, but like for some reason when he does it, it's off. Like
What's that about?
I don't know. We're not watching. We're. It seems like we should know how this works and it should like affect us a certain way emotionally, but instead it's totally like.
Well, part of it is that he doesn't have the intensity that he normally has in these sort of thrillers.
He looks frail.
This is this is the end of a long line of psychological thrillers for Michael Douglas, going back to Fatal Attraction and including Basic Instinct and Disclosure.
I also think it's hard for us not to think of any thriller with Michael Douglas as it's necessarily erotic. Like he's necessarily.
Yeah, why is Michael? Who came up with the idea that, you know what we're gonna do for the next 20 years? We're gonna make movies about how sexy Michael Douglas is.
I think it's
his hair is
he's
so great.
incredibly serious. He's
got a nice voice.
He has a nice.
He comes across as being both masculine and intellectual.
Exactly, which is really hard to find in Hollywood.
He also comes from an awesome line of
Kirk
His
dad
Douglas.
is Kirk Douglas.
He's not attractive enough to.
His brother is Buster Douglas, the boxer.
Oh wait, really?
He's not attractive enough for us to think he's dumb. You know,
Right.
so he like performs certain mannerism. Also, he's happens to be an intelligent actor in the way that he moves and the choices that he makes. Except for this film, which I actually don't really blame him for. I don't
really blame him either.
Yeah,
but I didn't buy any of the emotional connections either, though. Like, I didn't feel anything between him and his daughter. I didn't feel anything between him and Famke Jensen.
Or Brittany Murphy.
And that's what's supposed to motivate him through the whole film.
He sleepwalks through the film. He doesn't bring any of the intensity that he brings to even his like B level thrillers.
Why do you think he said yes to this? Andre, you've
Well,
seen...
he was getting old, and this was probably one of the last times that he was given an opportunity to be in something like this. And it did make $100 million, so he probably just thought it was going to be one more of those things that he's been doing for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, just one of those things that he doesn't really have to think too hard about. And
You know what I choose to believe he did it for? I believe...
Love.
Yes, and here's why. I believe that he has suffered from psychosomatic sleepwalking fake catatonia syndrome, and this is his chance to tell his story through Brittany Murphy as Michael Douglas.
So I had a thought, like you're talking about actors and trying to pick roles, and like him being, like you said, like he's not so pretty, we think he's dumb.
Right.
And I was
Which
thinking
is a little simple, but yeah.
Right, but I was thinking about Brittany Murphy, and is the serious counterpoint to the like dumb bimbo the like crazy girl?
Interesting.
Because she
because
took a
women
lot of
can never be normal.
I don't know, but
they can't.
She didn't really have that much of a character, though.
No, she didn't.
So
Right,
it
but
wasn't.
she was
It
her as
wasn't
an
like she was
actress.
complicated.
none of the characters were characters.
No.
It
Except
was
Sean Bean.
He was a real character.
Can
He
we
was
talk
getting
about
into
how
all
good
kinds
he
of trouble.
was in this movie? Sean
Yeah.
Bean knocks it out of the park. He does a good
He was
job.
the most dynamic. He had the most backstory. He had the like.
Yeah.
I was like rooting for Sean Bean kind of.
I kind of like Snake.
Yeah.
Snake was my. He was the best dad in the whole movie.
This is the character Max, the criminal who with the long hair
whose job is
Had
to
like a
take,
neck tattoo.
He always gets stuck with taking care of the kid on their capers.
Yeah, whenever they kidnap a child.
Well, I was really I liked all the multiple rip-off plot lines. So like, and I mean, it didn't quite work out that way for Snake, but it had the potential of being the like Natalie Portman and like Leon the Professional. And then Famke Johnson's stuck in her own Rear Window vignette.
I think they were definitely trying to go for a Leon the Professional thing, and it did not work at all.
I think what they were
Because it's
hoping
bad
was
writing.
that they would do like 10% of 10 good movies and end up with 100% of a good film. But what they ended up with was
a 24 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, they ended up with about 24% of a movie.
But what I mean, just one small tweak could have, because that guy, he's a henchman that is going to die. And he's going to be the most developed henchman and also be the one that dies along with all the other bad guys, because this is going to be a straightforward good guy, bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But what a nice little twist that would have been if he has this, narrative arc where he he tries to take care of the little girl, and so his last thing is to like do some minor thing that doesn't, like he pushes her out of the way or something, and then the boss gets mad and shoots him.
But it's not his story, and it's not really anyone's story. The whole thing is a big pile of crap.
Right.
One of the issues.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, even that little bit would have made it a much better movie.
Well, what was there a moment in this movie that was like, because I find with any sort of terrible thing, there's always like something sort of incidental, and it's always incidental, that is sort of captivating or interesting. For me, at least, I experienced this. And I'm curious, Sarah, you're looking at me like you have one of these.
No, I don't have one. I just remember you mentioning yours.
Wait, what was mine? Oh, the I'll Never Tell thing?
No, what was it? I think it was for you. I know it was towards the end of the movie. You were like, why does such a terrible movie have to have one shining silver lining?
Oh, it was because
when she wrote the numbers backwards.
Well, what happened? No, and Eric mentioned it. It's not that she remembered the numbers in her brain. She had muscle memory from
she
writing
knew how they
the numbers.
felt. Yeah, so she didn't actually know what they said. She just
like
traced
fucking
them.
Chekhovian genius. Like we learn, like it's just this like psychological. Like that's the psychologically thrilling
imprint.
part for me. Is the like way that your body remembers things.
But there were so many things in the movie where it seemed like what they did was they came up with the broad strokes of what the story was, and they, sketched out a couple of things about what would be some cool little twists, and then they did no further work. They drew the lines as straight as they possibly could between everything. And the biggest problem I had with this was actually the way that they treated mental illness in the film.
Proceed.
Because they started with the idea, hey, what if there's a crazy woman who has a secret, and you need to get it from her in order to do something, which in the case of the film was save your daughter's life.
It seemed like a video game kind of.
Right. They were treating mental illness as though it were simply a perfectly functional plot device.
Which is a thing you see all the time in any thriller.
It
many
posits
thrillers.
that in
she
every
was crazy because the plot needed her to be.
Yeah,
but
not because of she was an actual working.
And it's not even
character.
that she's crazy. She's a safe that Michael Douglas has to crack by 5 o'clock.
So not only is she crazy, she's an object.
She's not a
that
person.
Needs to be.
Yeah.
And it I think a lot of movies and TV shows posit that like locked in every quote unquote crazy person's mind is this like really important secret, and it's like in a mental hospital is just full of all these keys to treasures.
We're all John Nash on the inside,
right?
Like we all just have to in they're an idiot savant, or they're we have to find their root and force them to face it, and then they'll like cough up.
I hate that intellectualization of mental illness too. That really frustrates me. Like. Especially, like, as someone who is mentally ill and also stupid, it, like, offends me that I have to, like, be this, like, oh, yes, well, my mother used to always say this to me when I was a kid, like, oh, you're not a cookie-cutter kid, you're, I'm like, no, Mom, I'm also boring. Like, I don't know, like what is it? Isn't it possible to be, like, a boring person and also mentally ill? Like, I hate the way that we're supposed to be, like, mentally ill people are, like, always, like, geniuses. I actually think that's super dangerous and super racist in a lot of ways.
Well, not racist.
No, it is, because there is this sort of, like, way in which...
Mentally ill people aren't a race.
Well, no, but no, my point that I'm making is that, like, there are, like, these images, like, wealthy white women are, like... Though, like, they're sick, they're ill, they're mentally ill, but, like, you don't think about how, like, homeless people are crazy. They're not mentally ill. You know what I mean? I'm sort of interested in this, like, difference between crazy and mentally ill.
It's all about resources. If you're a homeless guy on the street with schizophrenia and can't afford medication, you're crazy.
Then you're crazy.
And that's it, bing, bang, boom. But if you're white and you have resources or you're pretty... then you're mentally ill and you can be treated, and apparently all you need to do is be exposed to your triggers and you'll be fine 5 hours later. And that was what you said about how they intellectualize it. That's what I think bothered me, was that he's this forensic psychologist.
Isn't that actually his job?
I don't know. Someone said that. Okay, I think he's a psychiatrist, first of all. He's not even a psychologist.
He's a psychiatrist
at an all-boys school.
Yeah.
He used to be really good. He used to be really good because he worked at that state hospital and he was in the trenches, and then Oliver Platt stayed there and continued to work.
And now his job is to tell boys to masturbate less.
No, he tells boys it's okay to masturbate.
Masturbate more because
but don't commit crimes.
Well, he's like, because if you stop jacking off, then you're gonna end up on panty raids.
Is that how this movie opens?
The movie opens.
Well, no, it opens with a bunch of goyim stealing from the Hasids in Williamsburg.
This movie also manages to be anti-Semitic. There's a lot of things this movie does.
What I was gonna say was just that there is no psychology to what he does. Like, he doesn't do a single psychological thing in this entire
he says
film.
at the beginning of the film he doesn't like Freud.
But nobody does. Like, you don't have to be into Freud to do psychological things.
He brings up Freud and dismisses him as a way for you, the audience, to get an understanding that he doesn't do things by the book.
But I think that in and of itself
do that.
That in and of itself is
incredibly by the book.
But name another psychiatrist besides Freud.
Young.
Okay.
Okay,
But the point is we're watching this.
Rogers.
And we're just looking for these
Hammerstein.
we're just looking for these visual cues. Like they even wrote Sigmund on in graffiti. It's like they're just giving us these like head nods that are like,
I love the idea that there is a mental hospital out there where people write Sigmund.
Yeah, no, I love that too. But I was also thinking, to go back to what Andre was saying about the he's not a guy that plays by the rules. I'm like, he's not a regular psychiatrist. He's a cool psychiatrist.
Yeah.
This is what we're supposed to get, you know?
Right,
And
he says in the opening scene, I probably shouldn't be saying this. You know, I'm a professional.
Really good Michael Douglas impression.
And he says, everybody masturbates.
Oh, God, it's too good.
Which is ironic because that's something he and Freud would probably really agree on.
Yeah.
Didn't he say wax off?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's how we know it's a New York movie, because he's always whacking off, you know?
I thought it was
Everybody's
the
whacking
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that one of the reasons that this movie happened and is as terrible as it is because the person who wrote the film, who clearly knows nothing about mental illness or psychiatry as a profession.
Or
and
bank
I
robbery.
I don't know anything about
True.
mental illness or psychiatry as a profession, but I can tell he doesn't.
Well, then, you know, actually, that you say about, Eric says about bank robbery, it seems like that was actually the best dramaturgically motivated thing in the movie, was actually the bank robbery seemed okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a nice, that was a good.
Except that there's a $10 million jewel sitting in a safe deposit box in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And that
On
$10
Marcy
million
Avenue.
don't exist. $10 million jewel. We looked that up.
Yeah, that doesn't look
The
like a
most
real
expensive is only $7 million in 2015 dollars.
Yeah.
Is that our biggest criticism of the movie?
Is that they got the money
No,
wrong.
I don't like how that the gem wasn't pretty.
That's true. That's true.
Was my
that was
biggest
its biggest
criticism.
flaw.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to it, it wasn't worth all that suffering.
No, it was not.
If it were prettier.
I mean, yeah, that was the point of the movie at the end. Remember, they ask.
Yeah, Michael Douglas,
Who's
and he's got this like fire glowing in his eyes. You know, he got this big smile on his face. You know, he looks the way he did his character, who was crazy in Basic Instinct, looked when he's, killing people.
Crazy. Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, well, that was the question
perfectly sane
about,
guy killing
because
people.
he had to keep going back to his psychiatrist, who was Jean Triplehorn, who ended up being the killer. Oh wait, was she? No, she wasn't. It was the other.
Yeah.
So
that
was another film, and in a long line of films of Michael Douglas, where Michael Douglas is playing a guy who's like, "I'm not crazy, man."
Yeah.
You know.
Can I ask a really leading question? What do you think the role of like thrillers in terms of their representations of mental illness has in like actual mental health, or like your understanding of what mental illness is?
I have so many feelings about
Please
this.
tell me everything. Like, I don't know, like whether or not that I'm not asking specifically like how does it make you feel about mental illness? I'm asking, do you think it actually has like real widespread like policy ramifications?
Yes, absolutely, 100% yes.
Tell me more about this, Sarah.
I mean,
this is why I wanted
the
you to be on
big
the show.
one that I think everybody perceives in one way or another is that mentally ill people, particularly the more distressing ones like schizophrenia and sociopathy, that those people are like 99.9% likely to be violent and kill people, when they are actually way more likely to be the victims of violent crimes. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just this, you know, I think no one knows that most sociopaths out there are like CEOs and lawyers, and there are a lot of people who are perfectly functioning with treatment with schizophrenia. So I think absolutely, especially with thrillers, you know, you might find another movie that maybe would soiree into that they're not murderers, but with thrillers, like 100% of the time, if they're a killer or anything, it's because they're a sociopath.
This is I see this a lot
Well,
with
it makes it cool.
Yeah,
but that because it's thrilling.
I see this a lot with I was talking to somebody recently about the overabundance of diagnoses of bipolar disorder in girls. Like,
which is you're not supposed to be able to do.
Yeah,
you have to be 18 to be diagnosed with
but like
bipolar.
teenage girls, like in the last like 10 to 15 years, and just like, and then it emerges later on that like no, they were just having feelings and like acting in ways that seemed irrational to whatever standard.
Same with
of,
little boys being diagnosed with ADHD. It's the same. It's a similar thing.
It's a similar phenomenon. Although apparently the ADHD rates that's slowing down a little bit.
Thankfully.
I think.
Thanks, Frontline.
But there's always going to be something.
That's true.
Yeah, but there's always going to be something. I guess.
Well, yeah. I guess. I mean, I just think like what. So you're saying this? I'm thinking like, what would an accurate depiction of this be? And I'm like,
it would be really boring.
It would be really boring, but it would be incredibly depressing. But like if you depicted, say, like me when I'm having one of my severe depressive episodes, and it would just be like
boring but sad. Yeah.
Well, it would just be like one long uncut shot of like someone walking down the street, and it would be all voiceover, just saying like the worst things about yourself over and over again, and
it'd be video.
That might be art, but it wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it would
just be like a shot of someone like not moving in real time, the sunlight going down.
Those documentary was released a few weeks ago called "Misery Loves Comedy," about the links between depression and stand-up comedians, and how comics are disproportionately likely to suffer from depression and to also commit suicide. And that the conclusion they come to is that for a lot of people who suffer from depression who are stand-up comedians, they go into comedy as a way of dealing with their issues.
For sure. I was going to say that's like comedy is a coping mechanism. Like if you can laugh at these things.
I don't know if that's, I mean, that seems like very simple to me in a way that it probably plays a part, but I just
think it's an externalization of their internal monologue. I think there are a lot of mental illnesses that cause distress, and they cause people to be hypervigilant or notice more things or think about things. And so you notice a lot of comedians are very observant, or they'll pick at human behavior, and I think
and they also obsess over their own actions.
Exactly, and a lot of them are self-deprecating or misanthropic, and I think a lot of that
and they
comes
drink too
from,
much.
And apparently expose themselves sometimes. So I think that I would like. I think if you were going to boil it down, you could maybe say coping mechanism. But I think like if you stretch it out a little bit, it really is that they have a particular set of skills that they have gotten from their experience, and comedy is a really quote unquote healthy, socially accepted way for them to express
it could be
it.
productive because it also.
Yes. But I also think that there's like I'm interested in what Sarah just said about the mundane, like this idea of like pointing out what happens in ordinary behavior, and I think this actually really gets to the point that Eric was making about how what it would actually be like to have a movie that was like realistic representation of depression or whatever, is that it's
real cats being let out of
real cats being in real houses. But I think it's. And that's why I think it's really interesting to talk about comedy, stand-up comedy is necessarily having to do with the mundane and the ordinary and sort of the exposure skewering of those things. It's not actually about like comedy that's like about like crazy laser cats to me is never like as funny as like Richard Pryor talking about spending $600 a day just to get his dick hard. It's like with where he turns cocaine addiction into like a mundanity.
Robin Williams did that too.
Rather than addiction as tragedy, it's like addiction as like the thing that you do in order to get through the fucking...
I wonder though how much comedy, stand-up comedy specifically, and specifically also the style of comedy that seems to be this neurotic, self-obsessed kind of observational talky comedy, how much that thing's prominence in our culture since the 60s has created in us this idea that everybody has something psychologically wrong with them, and that everybody is perfectly qualified to diagnose themselves.
That is true. I'm definitely not a huge fan of self-diagnosis. I have a lot of problems with it.
Who is a fan of self-diagnosis?
You would be.
People that don't want to go to the doctor.
Welcome to have you been on Tumblr? Because
I'm not saying people don't do it, but I'm saying who would say like I am a fan of people diagnosing. I think that with those words, no one would say that they are. I'm not saying that people don't do it. Obviously,
But this is part of the reason that these thrillers, like the thrillers, have this often explicitly psychiatric element to them, and
but it's all gobbledygook.
Right, none of it makes any sense. But the stuff comes from the predecessor, which was noir, which used psychiatry as a way of building suspense and increasing the stakes when it came to depicting villains.
Yes.
Right? Like, a villain isn't just somebody trying to rob a bank.
They're unpredictable.
Right. They'll do
A loose cannon.
Or maybe they're even more predictable in that you can't reason with them. You know exactly what they're going to do no matter what you do. You can't intervene. They become less than human.
I want to ask Alex if he sees this, if you, Alex, see this. Do you see, like, when writing plays, I mean, what are the... I guess you also are interested in film and stuff like that, but when you're...
But whatever.
But I'm specifically interested in, like, what is the relationship that theater has with mental illness and, like, playwrights specifically in terms of how they depict that.
I mean, generally, or just for me, or...
For you, specifically, sure.
Sure. I mean, like, it's, like, I think very similar to, like, stand-up comedy where it's, like, I don't know, the way that I see the world and perceive things enters in how I write, I guess. I don't know.
Do you do it intentionally or no? Or is it just sort of, you say filters, so.
No, I try to be more, pull from, like, a sort of unconscious place, however real that may be. It could, you know, and then, like, edit away, I guess, to give it shape.
To give
Is
it
that
shape.
too abstract?
It's a little abstract. I mean, I get what you mean. I'm interested in, like, how you say that you take what is in your subconscious or unconscious first and then edit it in order to give it shape, because it speaks to what we're saying, that, like, there is no shape to mental illness. It's necessarily amorphous and difficult to pin down, and therefore it requires editing and honing in order to cultivate into a narrative.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what André almost got at, which was, I mean, he was making a different point, but he was saying, like, now, since the 60s, like, we've got this whole culture now of, like, a stand-up comedian or an artist or a playwright, like, being this certain mental person, and, like, there's, like, these people are crazy, or these people have the artist mentality or whatever, and that sort of perpetuates, like, a cycle of self-diagnosis and self-harm.
Do you see that as a problem in art making? Like, obviously it's a problem in terms of people, but is it a problem in making work?
And maybe this goes without saying, but it's like, it's creating this whole mythology behind art making that isn't necessarily, like, true. Like, I think you can be, like,
you can be a
normal person and make good art, I think.
Yeah, I totally think you can, and I think it sucks that, like, that's not a thing anymore.
Well, it's like the romanticization, I can't say it, of bipolar disorder, and how mania helps you create, and you know, I can't be an artist if I'm on my medication.
Well, there are so many important artists
I can
in the
only
20th
be an artist
century
when I'm on my medication.
who our story of them now is the story of their mental illness. Like Antonin Artaud struggling with his addiction and chronic pain and his bizarre dementia, right? Like, that's how he came up with a way of reshaping the theater into something that was adventurous and confrontational, right? Or William Burroughs's addictions, or Kurt Cobain, or any number of
Well, it's like a modernization of the idea of, like, the artist as some sort of, like, vessel, or, like,
for the gods.
There's some sort of thing that, like, there's something abnormal about them that allows them. A mystic that'll, an oracle or something.
And you know, it doesn't help fucking academia. Because you got fucking Deleuze and Guattari telling us about the fucking schizoid and schizopolis, and how we should all strive for this.
Schizopolis, normal is crazy.
An ideation of what they deem to be this, like, scattered identity.
Well, I think intellectuals tend to, like, love. They're like nerds, you know, like, they tend to love this, like, art so much that they want to mystify it, because they don't, you know, they want it to be holy in their own way.
Right. If it's just a magic trick, then they've been wasting their lives trying to understand it.
Yeah. Well, they want to believe that an art project is necessarily indicative of the whole rather than a piece of the world. You know, you want to be able to map on a work of art that you love and respect so much onto your own life completely, but it never works like that. You can't just, like, put a thing that was constructed and honed and edited down and just, like, map it onto your own personal experience.
But I mean, at the same time, here I am still talking about, like, pulling from an unconscious, like, place to write stuff, which is another kind of religious, like semi-religious idea.
Yeah, like going into like a state.
Right, a fugue state. Yeah,
Yeah.
something to like produce art.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I guess I think like I don't really see for me. This could be dangerous, but like the difference between, for me, like making art and writing what I do, because I see like I always describe myself as like an intuitive thinker in an analytical field. Like I think about things and they seem very programmatic to me, but I don't think that they actually are. So it's like really hard for me to understand this idea of just like letting something flow out of you and then editing it down. Because to me, like when like the idea comes and it just seems really systematic. I don't know. This is getting solipsistic and no one gives a shit. But like, I don't know.
But I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting to hear, I guess, just writing process.
Is it?
No, well, it is to me because I write and I wouldn't say it's subconscious. Like when I write, I just try to write down everything I'm thinking and then I have to go back and edit it.
It's possible that there's that because of the form of writing practice that produces the kind of work that we end up consuming, that this particular practice which gets replicated, which is people just writing whatever and then shaping it into something that's consumable, that as a result we end up feeling like because this process creates work that we consume, that means the process must have some sort of a value in itself.
Which I just don't think, and I think that's part of the romanticization that's such a fucking problem, is that there isn't something inherently beautiful about making art. Or there isn't something about the act of making art. There may be something inherently beautiful about art we can talk about, but I don't think that like we should...
depends on what Instagram filter you put on.
That's an excellent point, Alex. I just don't think it's useful to like fetishize like the artistic process. Like it's great to fetishize art.
Now
and
this
talk
is
about
something
art.
that there's one process.
This is something actually
That's
that
true.
does come up in the films of Kristen Wiig over the past few years. Is that she's made the same film 4 times now, as a producer and as a lead actor. When she made Girl Most Likely, which was terrible. It was her first starring vehicle after she left SNL. And then Bridesmaids, and then Skeleton Twins, and then this year, most recently, the Welcome to Me. And in each of these films, she didn't write these films, but they all tell the story of a woman who overcomes mental illness in order to become a powerful creative force.
Overcomes mental illness. I don't know what that even means.
Well, in the case of these films, in the case which, there's something oddly obsessive about the way that Kristen Wiig has spent the past 4 years pretty much full-time just making movies about white women struggling with mental illness.
But I wonder how much of that has to do with Kristen Wiig making choices about the project she's making, or the kind of things that her face seems to speak to. Like people see that face and those eyes.
She has a character and she knows.
Yeah.
Well, but there are plenty of screwball comedians who do weird stuff who don't explicitly make all of their projects about mental illness. But she made a movie first that was about somebody who in the film is diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then in the following film is diagnosed with depression. And then the film after that is diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And then in the 4th film, finally diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And in each of these films, she seems to believe that by finding a way to live with this stuff, that she can have some kind of a hero's journey.
Right. There's something... Well, it's problematic to me in the sense that the idea that a mental illness in and of itself can map onto a hero's journey is kind of interesting to me.
I think this is the, ultimate... I don't know, this is the conclusion of what's happened with the commodification of the stories of these artists, right? Now, first we get the weird art from, the Beats or something that comes from so-called mental illness, and then we get the story of their mental illness, So now we get stories about that.
That's what I like about William... I know what you mean. That's what I like about William S. Burroughs, is that, his stuff was never... narrative. It like never used mental illness as like a narrative device. It was just like it was just so codified aesthetically into every aspect of it that I find that sort of, I don't know why I find that like less fucked.
Did he have a mental illness? I thought he was just a heroin addict.
Yeah,
he had depression.
He was pretty
well. At the time, he was diagnosed with being gay.
That too.
Gayness, yeah.
In the DSM, that was.
Yeah.
And this is something that's brought up in Girl Interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of a number of films where Angelina Jolie, another actress who decided to spend a great part of her professional career depicting women who were struggling with mental illness.
Until she had kids, and then it was like, nope,
If you're skinny and have big eyes, you're almost, and as a female, you're almost guaranteed to get those
that's going to be
roles.
your thing. Yeah.
Oof.
I think if you're skinny and have big eyes, you're guaranteed for a lot of roles if you're a famous person.
That's true. Also true.
Particularly starring in the film Big Eyes.
I like that movie. That movie was not about mental illness, though.
But the big eye actress is Christina Ricci, and she was in Prozac Nation.
Yes, she was.
So there's definitely a correlation between big eyes and...
I want to see a graph as how big your eyes are and how crazy you are in movies.
Well, there's like a thing people talk about crazy eyes.
Yeah.
That's a thing people identify, and I'm not saying it's real, but
eyes are windows.
That's something that you know, it kind of like leaks into that as to people. Big eyes are a way to convey.
They're just like a sign,
and it shows like a little bit of mania kind of.
But you know what this brings up an issue regarding the way that acting works in America after Stanislavski, which is that. Since so much of Strasberg and Stanislavski acting technique is about understanding the psychology of the character that you're playing, the character that you want to play is the person with the abnormal psychology.
Oh yeah, well,
so then so then actors who are committed to a kind of method or studio approach are going to be interested in playing characters who are suffering from mental disorders, and the male actors who had the same affinity for mental illness were Jack Nicholson and Marlon Brando.
Yeah, that's
I want to
really
say that's one of, in my opinion, is one of the most despicable things about acting.
What? Oh, I love this. Go on.
This whole, I'm a serious actor, and I'm going to research this role, and I'm going to learn about the psychology of this person, and it's just like, I'm going to take I can't think of a tool. I'm going to take a metal tool that spins, and I'm going to bore out the inside of this person and make a space for me to climb inside them. And because I'm so serious and I'm so dedicated,
well, that's the biggest.
I'm going to research this thing, and it's like, no, this is someone's life.
It
that
sounds
you're
like due diligence to me. Yeah. What you just described, like they're like doing their job,
but there's this like certain like godlike egoism about it that's like I will become the vessel.
Another
of
vessel
this
thing.
Okay,
this is the biggest thing. That the biggest problem with Stanislavski
not
is
doing a good job rehearsing a role. It's beyond that sometimes.
The biggest problem with Stanislavski I have with Stanislavski is not like method acting necessarily. It's the idea that actors are inherently intelligent, which is the farthest thing from the truth.
Actors are dumb.
Most actors are super dumb, and that's okay. We just gotta stop expecting them to be smart.
To be fair, nearly everyone in the world is an idiot.
This is also true. Mm-hmm.
But
oh my God, we sound like such assholes.
We are.
We are. I mean, I said I'm dumb, so that's okay.
So everything's fine.
Who's dumb? I don't know. Luigi's pretty dumb. But the rest of you guys are pretty smart. I don't know. I just feel
that's not the thing I usually beat myself up over.
I don't identify with dumb, but I have a lot of other things I identify with. Negative things.
No, okay. Well, I guess that's okay then.
As long as you hate yourself. As long as you hate yourself, you're fine. Don't worry about it. As long as you're compensating for something, then you're allowed to be an asshole.
Can I how do I
that?
compensate? That's my problem.
How am I?
Well, I wonder though if the habit that people had in the second half of the 20th century of attempting to understand people in terms of a diagnosis led to a situation in which we're often, thinking about everyone in the world in terms of their mental illness, and so people don't have personalities anymore, and they have a list of symptoms.
I think
that's the dirty secret that psychologists don't want anyone to know, which is that every single person with depression is a different person and is going to present differently. And it's exactly like you said. It's like, okay, here's the DSM's 9 criteria for depression. Let's make sure, Brittany Murphy shows 8 of those. And then bing, bang, boom, she doesn't need a backstory. She doesn't need a personality. Yeah. But when the whole point of depression is that it affects who you are. So you have
the reason
a
we've
personality.
been giving people depression is
you have a personality, and sometimes it's filtered through depression, or it's affected by depression, or it's affected by the fact that the depression's gone, or something. Whereas, like you said, it becomes their identity.
Used to be that a writer, like in the 19th century, right, a writer tries to depict a person. And the way that they attempt to depict a person is by describing them physically and describing their behaviors.
The good old days of the 19th century.
And characterizing them with certain traits and saying, this is what this person is like. This is who they are. I am drawing you a word picture of a human life.
And now it's what you are like. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I was just thinking about the high fidelity phenomenon, which I think is actually links up to what Sarah's talking about. I'm sorry, go on, André.
What's the high fidelity, like when you compare
No, shut up.
people
I'm sorry, I fucked up. No. What do you, André, go on.
So when that was the case, it was possible for people to be good or for people to be bad, right? You could judge people, and this was actually something that people were expected to do, was to judge people. You had to judge people based on their character all the time, and people had characters to be judged. And now people don't have characters, and they don't have personalities. They have symptoms, and they have diagnoses.
Well, but those diagnoses, I agree with what you're saying, but I think those diagnoses themselves are also linked to this, like, greater late capitalism issue, which is that, like, we don't have time for people to have narratives and stories. We have to put in this, like, Star Wars thing, or we got to get the first act, which is this. It's like you have these, like, symptoms, like, which can be tall Luke Skywalker type, or this, like, symptoms map onto...
Wait, Star Wars is a great narrative.
Okay, well, I'm thinking about that Don McKee... What was that Don Key thing you were telling me about, André? The guy who, or Alex knows, who wrote that book about story. Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit and how maybe that might reflect...
Yeah. I don't know, basically he's like a Hollywood guru, like telling you how to...
There's one way to write a story. Right. And only one way.
Is this the Save the Cat?
Well, no, actually, yeah, I think that's part of it. No, I think he actually describes 2 or 3, or like there's like and this is actually psychological too, where he talks about like your impression of the world will be reflected in the story that you tell, but he thinks that everyone who believes in who's a filthy capitalist, basically he thinks like everyone who has any faith in the world or like any beliefs will tell a story of redemption, like a classic Hollywood story. But then if you are like a nihilist or like you don't believe in this path, then you will have one where there's no change in the character.
So, like, if you're a depressed person, you'll tell a story where there is no God. Right. And if you're not, And
he calls that art. And he even sets up a graph basically that says like this will make money and this will not.
I love the Cartesian planes that are in all the screenwriting books that ever get produced. It's all just lines and dots, and this is where you go here, and this is how much time passes, and it's all so mathematical. It literally is a formula.
Yeah.
I mean, now I wish I had done my homework and actually read this book so I could talk to you about it.
No, it's better that you didn't read it. We don't want to spoil your mind. Yeah, and I think that connects to this. Yeah. Same way how in like this Brittany Murphy movie, Brittany Murphy is catatonia, or she is crazy, which is codified in this and this and this way, like 8 symptoms, like you said, or whatever.
Well, what kind of adds a little bit of a not twist, but what kind of makes not a twist, but what kind of makes this movie a little different is that she
was a tomato the whole time.
she is mimicking other symptoms. So, like, she got 20 different diagnoses because she was mimicking symptoms from 20 different diagnoses. Yeah. And so, she kind of portrays this, like, mishmash of, like, vague mental illness, but that's what the character is supposed to be doing. So I almost have a hard time criticizing that portrayal of mental illness because the trauma part was vaguely kind of sort of representative of what trauma can be like for some people. And then the rest of it was...
But how many sociopaths suffer from PTSD? Isn't it like a one?
She's not a sociopath.
But she does manipulate people and lie to people her whole life.
But that doesn't make you a sociopath.
Yeah, there are plenty of people that manipulate and lie to people her whole life.
Well, and this is something I wanted to touch on too, which is that, like, and I was thinking about this when you were talking about kind of putting everything out and then kind of shaping it, is that everybody has bits and pieces of themselves where they can relate to a mental illness, whether they have it or not.
Of course, yeah.
Sad people can identify with a depressed person to an extent, and I think
they just
like,
need to snap
the
out.
Only thing they just need to snap out. The only thing that makes someone, you know, mentally ill is, that's the $1 million question that no one really has the answer to. But like theoretically, it's because they finally like hit this tipping point in distress where it qualifies as a disorder now, and
where they can't have a job anymore.
Where they can't, yeah, exactly, and
that's
now
really
they're
the gauge, isn't it?
Apparently,
Oh, yeah. Can you not make
you're
money
either
anymore?
a functional, like a functional alcoholic, or a functional depressive, or a functional whatever you are, or you're a dysfunctional one, and the difference is whether or not you're able to make enough money.
You
to
know
live.
what I fucking hate is when addicts or depressed people or any addicts or
try to talk to you on the street. Disgusting people.
No, it's like this idea like. People like will come out as like an addict to something or like that they've been depressed. That's like, but the thing that's so great about it is that nobody knew at my job. I'm like, congratulations, you know.
No,
like,
I guarantee you they totally knew at your job, and they're like, that's the person that's always getting drunk at lunch. Or
right, yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate for a little second, though? Because I think for a lot of people who are trying to hide mental illness, that is one of the biggest parts of their day that takes the most of their energy.
Oh, yeah.
And so for them, there is an element of pride of, like, I was able to appear, I'm doing air quotes here, but, like, appear normal, or I was able to... You know, I went home and was exhausted every day, but it's because I had this mask on all day.
It's just not a competition.
It's not. It absolutely is
that's
not.
what
But I
bums
can
me out.
understand why to them that would be a point of pride.
All right.
But
also that it's a success, not just a that it's like
that they would perceive it as a success. Yeah, I would.
Well,
agree.
it's that you're dying inside, but at least you were.
I think it
you were
depends
able
on
to
your-
get to work on time, and you were like able to like achieve certain things.
I think it
that
depends
day.
on your job, though.
That's
like
very
it depends
true.
on what you're like. You're peddling, right?
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Like
Right, yeah.
if you're like a graphic designer or something, like it might be cool that you like have like a sort of like fun like drug addiction. And, like,
Oh my god, it's so funny because it's like absolutely accurate.
true,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like a fun cokehead, you know.
This is what we've been seeing with stand-ups lately.
Oh yeah.
Is that like for decades we've been it's just like, oh well, you know, stand-ups they're fuck-ups.
Yeah.
You know, they're horrible people, and we just expect them to do terrible things. They're gonna, you know, shoot up heroin, and they're going to, you know, cheat on their wives. And
whatever, no consequences. It's fine.
and they're gonna like act skeezy around young women.
So that's a thing, you know, like that's sort of like
Well, I always thought that was-
shorthand.
I always thought that was like lame when a stand-up comedian would have like a rock star problem. You know,
what do you
we were
mean?
like, you're just a comedian. Why are you shooting up heroin? It's not like you're like a rock star.
I was talking to my friend recently about how there's like this thing that like young, attractive women comics like to do where they like to pretend like they're hideous. Because they're like,
and all their jokes are about
like,
how they
how much ice cream I ate. It's like, oh my god, the consequences of you eating ice cream are not nearly as bad as you like want them to be for this joke to work.
Right.
It bums me the fuck out.
Unless they're making a comment on like how other people
Obviously,
treat them.
but usually that's not.
Usually that's not. No,
Usually,
would
I have
agree.
yet to see
like
that be the
when I
case.
see Amy Schumer doing it, for example.
No,
I
that's-
think she's commenting on other people's comments.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you that in general, it's
And
like,
that's, I think, what Liz Lemon is. My understanding of Liz Lemon on 30 Rock is that she is talking about how absurd it is that she would be fat or ugly in this world of Hollywood. But then I think, like, the reception of that character gets to be this thing like, oh, aren't we all a little bit Liz Lemon? You know, like, we're all, like, it becomes this, like, really, I don't know, like...
Well, the character became the ideal. The ideal being that she's incredibly functional despite her mental disabilities, and that, you know, she perceives herself as being insufficient even though she exceeds what is necessary of her.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's the great, successful capitalist figure because she's
the great
she
white
believes
hope.
that she's insufficient
Emphasis on
while
white.
being excessive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I 100% believe that's true. I think actually we're gonna wrap up a little bit right now, but before we do, I would like to say thank you to everybody for being on the show. It was really fun. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Alex. And I'd like to close out with Luigi's review of the film Don't Say a Word.
Signora Conrad? Sofia. Signora, chi ha creato quel caos in cucina? Le uova sono fuori, tutto disorganizzata. Che casino!
Sofia, why here?
La catena della porta è rotta.
Sì, la porta. I broke it. Mr. Conrad will fix it. Perché sei qui?
Oh, sì, il signor Conrad mi ha assunto per cucinare la cena questa sera.
What?
Il tacchino?
No, tacchino. No, it's
Lo prendo io per
don't telephone. No, just give it to me. Excuse me, damelo. Sì, grazie. Hello.
Signora?
Get rid of her.
Sofia, no tacchino.
Sì.
Sofia, grazie. Arrivederci.